It's philzGoodMan, here to tell you about the Bowman, a brand new class that was just added to Krunker with the latest update. It's a really interesting class because it's projectile based instead of hit scan, and the only other projectile based class in the game right now is the Rocketeer, so it requires a much different playstyle. I'll also be sharing 5 of my top Bowman tips and give you my first impressions of the new class. The first thing to know about the Bowman is that regardless of whether you land a body shot, leg shot, or headshot, the damage is the same. This was tested against LMG and each time it did 100 damage. At range, there is no damage fall off. When we slow that clip down, you can see that it took 38 frames for the shot to reach the target. This is a relatively long time considering that an SMG can kill you as fast as 21 frames. The first tip I have with the Bowman is just learning to lead your shots. Don't worry about tryharding right away and don't try to switch to your secondary weapon quite yet. You really need to develop a feel for it and learn the muscle memory. The next tip is pretty simple. You can automatically reload the crossbow by simply spamming the left mouse key after you fired the shot. And this is easier than reaching over with your left hand and hitting the R key because it allows you to keep all your left hand on the movement keys. So after you fired your crossbow, always move on to the next action, whether that be reloading or moving or aiming at another player or switching to the pistol. You don't want to stop and see if the shot hit or not since it wastes time. It's kind of similar to how really good Fortnite players like Tfue use weapons such as the heavy sniper. They don't wait and see if the shot hits, they just move on to whatever they're going to do next. After you get the hang of the crossbow, it's time to start incorporating your secondary weapon into play. It's just way faster to switch to a pistol than to reload. After firing, regardless of whether you hit the target or not, you should always switch to the pistol as long as you are in combat. If you are not in combat, you can reload. The Bowman requires a predictive playstyle, so in this example I'm running back the flag and I know that the opponent is about to peek, and he ends up walking right into the arrow. Projectile-based weapons will always naturally require some level of prediction. So, is the Bowman good or is it trash? I think it's too early to tell right now. I did find the hit registration of the Bowman to be a bit unreliable during my private server testing, but I think that this will be patched, so I'm not too concerned about this. Overall, I think the Bowman is definitely worse than the sniper. I know that's not saying a whole lot. At the moment, I'm also uncertain about the matchups since it's really dependent on whether you land your first arrow or not. Unlike the sniper, you just have one round in the clip to work with, and as I mentioned before, the reload time is really long and the projectile time is quite high too. So at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters where the Bowman falls in terms of the tier list, because it's a really fun class to play and it doesn't necessarily have to be used competitively. So I hope you like this video, and if you do, please support the channel by liking this video and subscribing.